There is someone from the United Kingdom who has worked extensively in the labour movement there. Sarah Pearce, and she was seconded from her union, which is UNISON, that's the large public sector union in Britain, to work from 2008 to 2011 at the TUC on their GreenWorkplaces initiative, and she was a project leader for that. She's now back at UNISON, but she's still very much involved in the TUC initiative. She's also a union organizer at heart, and she plans to give us a taste of some of the grassroots kinds of initiatives that are currently being undertaken by workers and unions in the United Kingdom. And for those of us who have an interest in the labour movement and interest in international issues, it's very timely that she's able to present some information to us about what is happening in the labour movement in the United Kingdom. So thank you very much for coming, Sarah.
Thank you, John, for that introduction, and thank you to Carla as well for inviting me here today. I've been asked to tell you a little bit about what British trade unions are doing to combat climate change at a workplace level. But before I do that, I'll just very quickly set them in their political context. Obviously, David Cameron came into power in May, and what's happened since then is that he's using his early days to push through a trade union bill. And it's a trade union bill which is the strongest anti-trade union legislation in 30 years. It includes, among many proposals, outlawing public sector union members from striking by setting impossible thresholds to actually get the vote out, new plans to criminalise picketing, it permits employers to hire strike-breaking agency workers, and it reduces unions' reps' rights to actually get paid time off to carry out their duties. So this is serious. And as well as the trade union bill, I don't know where the picture went on that. That's a shame. It was a lovely picture of our UNISON members. But there's also austerity. So we're facing the ideological destruction of the state. Jobs are being cut. People are facing years and years of real times pay reductions. So it's quite amazing, actually, that we're managing to do all this work on environment in this backdrop. And at a grassroots level, it's been happening through the Green Workplace projects. These are projects that bring together the practical engagement of employers with the unions, and it sets to reduce the environmental impact of the workplace. Now, these projects aim to obviously reduce the impact of the workplace, to provide training for our reps, to give unions experience of actually cutting carbon as a key business goal, and crucially to extend our collective bargaining agenda by setting up negotiating committees to actually bargain on climate change. So exactly how have the unions been doing this? Well, we've basically made the workplace a focus of environmental action. We have negotiated time off for people, members and non-members, to come to green events. We've done staff surveys to ask the staff how do they think their workplace can be greener, because they're the experts in this. They know their own workplaces. We've also carried out bespoke training, so we've covered everything from how to get the environmental message across to how to carry out an energy audit. So general and technical skills being taught. Now I want to introduce you to the members of a joint environment committee at Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children in London. And in the middle, the elephant, that's their mascot, and they use that not just in their normal work of greening the workplace, but to tell the children and the patients and the families about what they're doing in the workplace. So outreach. They've carried out audits of operating theatres, wards, offices. They've introduced LED-efficient, energy-efficient lighting. They've also had a highly efficient condensing boiler fitted. And what I want you to think about at this point is imagine if that happened in every hospital in the NHS service. If they cut their carbon emissions by 15%, they'd save £50 million, what's that, 100 million Canadian dollars. But they also pay for 7,000 heart bypass operations. Now, as well as the projects that we supported intensively at the TUC, suddenly other projects were springing up. And the next one I want to tell you about is Paul Turner, who's a fire brigades union rep. And Paul went to one of our climate change conferences. And following that, he set up measures to reduce energy in the workplace. He set up composting, recycling, and the pile of condemned fire hose that you see. He had got agreement with management that could be turned into really high-end designer bags and belts and wallets. And 50% of the profits goes to the firefighters charity. He's even got an agreement whereby he sent the hose to a nearby zoo so that they could use it in their monkey sanctuary for swings and hammocks. So really original ideas. You know, it's not the sort of idea you'd get if an environmental consultant walked through your door, is it really? You know. So really original ideas. And the project built up a real momentum. Now, in 2012, TUC carried out a survey of union reps, and this graph shows the survey in 2012 of 1,200 environment reps, and the survey in 2009 of 1,300. And what it shows you is that 34% are carrying out green newsletters, another 34% have got green days going on, they're surveying the staff, they're carrying out green audits, and they're even showing DVDs and films to just try and promote awareness. This is a really important graph, and the thing I really want to point out to you is the middle part of the graph, where it says that 28% of the reps have got Joint Management Union Environment Committees set up. Now, I should point out that this means that rather than being just an added piece of business on a health and safety agenda, they're given environment a priority. And practice shows that where you do that, that's where you make the fastest gains. So that's quite heartening. Still though, only 12% of our reps have facility time, because under British law, environment reps don't get statutory right to facility time. And only 20% have any access to training. And even when Labour were in charge, between 1997 and 2010, there was no move on environmental reps getting formal recognition. You know, Ed Miliband came to our climate conference in 2010, and he promised he was going to put it in our manifesto. And he broke that promise. So don't trust your politicians. But even against all this, reps are still fighting, they're still trying to, working towards that goal. And nothing demonstrates this better than the final project I want to tell you about. It's a brewery in Wales, and it's part of the world's largest brewery corporation. Here are the reps. They're with the Welsh First Minister, as union reps always are, at the Wales TUC conference. Now, it all started when management approached the union Unite, and they said, I really want to reduce our carbon footprint. And Tony Bates, who's the union chair, said, we're okay, but we do it my way. We do it the union way. The project was totally driven by the workforce. He handpicked 12 environmentally driven people, and he called them Energy Guardians. He set objectives, training and awareness for everyone, including management on an equal footing, and they arranged awareness days, and they asked the staff for suggestions, and they got 400 suggestions. And the union got back, and I am not kidding you this, they got back to every single one of those 400 suggestions. Because you never know, if somebody comes up with a solution which maybe doesn't fit, the next time they might come up with a really good idea. Now, at this time, this was a workplace that for every pint of beer they made, they used 6 pints of water to make it. You could have filled 80,000 road tankers with the water they used in a year. They got support from the Wales TUC and from the Welsh Assembly, and in 2 years they reduced their water usage by 46%, their electricity by 49%, their heating bills by 23%, and they reduced their carbon emissions by a staggering 40%. A 15-month investment by the company of £1.4 million saved £2 million. They went on to set up a coalition of 20 companies to try and share best practice. And Oh, I don't know where that slide's gone. Okay, well that slide was going to show you, Tony Bates with other reps meeting Ed Miliband, the then Secretary of State for Energy and Climate Change. The same Ed Miliband, remember, who didn't put rights for reps in his manifesto. So, here's just a selection of some of the resources we've provided for union reps. I say we, slipping into old habits, I mean the TEC, for union reps. And the one in the middle, the Union Effect, GreenWorkplaces, that was only issued last year, and that's another collection of case studies. So still against the odds, the reps are dishing out the work. What are the lessons that we've learned? First and foremost, the central message is that employers and governments need to see unions as part of the solutions, and they need to give unions the freedom to lead on the projects. Because we're the people who know how to engage the workforce. Okay, nobody likes the boss telling you what to do. And it's not about being the employer's lapdog here. It's not us enforcing their environmental policies. It's about us agreeing the environmental policies with them and then together putting them into place. Now, over the last 8 to 10 years, unions have helped cut emissions in UK workplaces of all shapes and sizes in every sector of the economy. And what these projects show, I think, is that to some degree, while people might feel a bit daunted by the prospect of actually making a difference, in the home or as a consumer, collectively in the workplace, actually there's the potential to make a huge difference. And British factories and offices, they account for over half of our carbon emissions alone. Climate change presents humanity with its greatest challenge, but I think it also presents us with a chance. And I'd like to think that chance was about connecting us back to collectivity and solidarity, and a new economy that is based on trade union principles of sustainability, of stability, and most of all of fairness. We're cutting jobs, and what we should be doing is cut some carbon. So I just want to say, just imagine for 1 minute, we're in Canada, we've got a change of government, we've got this amazing project on adapting workplaces to climate change. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about it. So imagine for 1 minute that every workplace was a green workplace. And that's the thought I want to leave you with. And just to say, happy to take any questions. And if anybody needs to get in contact for any reason, you've got my contact details up there too. Thank you very much.